been before though.
There were a bunch of people here.
Oh,
Maybe,
probably.
Yeah.
I feel like it's always kind of mismatched, so I never know.
Totally.
Okay.
And Jen was gonna come, but she has a migraine.
That sucks.
Oh no.
Migraines are hard. What was that site that you normally use?
Oh, Astroseek.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, I love that site.
It's probably just quicker if I enter it in.
I sent you your synastry chart though, so it should be on there too.
You did. I'm just terrible at finding things in the right spots. But I have the physical copy right on my bookshelf. Horoscopes. Let's find out your...
It's December, right? December's next month. December.
Oh, December's the next month.
Also, today's a new moon.
Is
it?
Yeah.
Perfect.
No wonder my family's driving me nuts. I just want to be alone.
That's so real.
Okay,
Ooh, new moon in Sagittarius.
woohoo.
Yeah.
What time
Oh,
were
I
you
should
born
be
again?
What time?
Yeah.
In the morning. I think it was like 3 in the morning.
Gotta ask your mom.
She told me lots. I think it was 3.
Okay, so that's today, which I guess I'll talk about. So Sagittarius, new moon. I guess, wait, no, introductions first. I'm Lauren, and I'm what am I? A Virgo sun, a Leo rising, and a Gemini moon. And then, I don't know which way you want to go.
I can go.
Okay.
I am Jess. I'm a Taurus sun and a Libra descending.
Rising.
Rising. Oh, what's my other one? Oh my god.
Your moon sign? I can't even remember.
No, moon's my Libra.
You should write this down.
I know.
Moon's Libra?
1 second. Come back to me, please.
It's alright.
I used to know it, but I always forget.
I have it somewhere. I always forget people's too. I should be able to remember.
Like a
people's.
log of all the people that
Yeah.
come.
Actually, you know what? Maybe I did write it down.
You have a notebook. You should read it.
I should. So. I was getting it right. Okay.
I thought you were a Libra rising. I could have sworn you were a Libra rising and your moon sign was something else.
Well, no, because Tawny's sun sign is Libra, and I am.
Aren't you like an
Lunar.
Aquarius?
Probably
Something? Like Aquarius rising or Aquarius moon? What about Tyler then? Tyler's Leo. A Leo.
Tyler's
That's all I
Leo.
know.
That's all we know.
I'm a Leo.
That's
I
all we
can't
know.
find it quick, but you could probably find it quick.
Cancer rising. That makes sense, yeah. Cancer rising.
Oh wow.
Wait, what?
Mine's a
Is this Tyler's?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Tyler's a Cancer rising. Yeah, I was going to say that doesn't sound right. I was like, Cancer rising, Capricorn moon. Capricorn
Oh,
moon.
weird.
Yeah.
Sorry, not weird.
My dad's a
When I asked you,
Capricorn
can you
moon.
talk about
Capricorn
it?
moons are kind of
Yeah.
serious.
I was talking to someone else who has a Capricorn moon, and they were like, "Yeah, that's like a." They didn't seem like super pleased about it, and they were
What?
kind of
Oh no,
working
it's
through it.
not a bad placement because
Yeah.
it's still
Leo
like it's still
sun.
good.
Your son?
Yeah, you're a Cancer rising. And you
It's
are
just very serious,
Very
like a little serious, you know.
Yeah.
Capricorn.
Also, probably a little bit like emotionally like
What does
stoic.
that mean?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Would you say that? I would say that.
What are the? Oh, sorry.
he
I was
so
writing
is.
them down.
Like he's a little bit
Absolutely.
emotionally stoic, you
Oh
know?
yeah, and he's very
Like it's very like
yeah, like stern, straightforward.
yeah.
Yeah.
Capricorn moons, I feel like it's sometimes hard to be as like, what are you feeling? And they're like,
Oh
I don't know.
my god, yes.
They're like just kind of like
What What are those?
It's not like intentional though. It's just like
So those are like the different like houses or star signs, and basically
so basically there's like
Yeah.
everyone has like everyone has planets in their chart. Like everyone has the same planets, and the planets represent different human drives essentially, right? So they're like different psychological
And
aspects.
It's all based on when you're born.
Yeah, how the
So
stars
like
are
the
aligned.
sun, for example, represents like your sense of vitality, like what you find purpose from, right? Like it's your core purpose. It's like kind of like who you are, right? It's like your ego, it's your identity, it's all that, right? So like a Leo sun is, you know, Leos are kind of all like Leos are the center of attention. They're very much like
He's
they're
a
fire
real
sign,
anxious
right?
boy.
So they're very like extroverted, you know, very talkative, and they kind of like attract people into their orbit too. The sun naturally rules over Leo too, so it's actually like in its home sign, in the sign of Leo, right? Yeah. And then the moon is like the kind of the opposite of the sun, where the sun is like your core purpose. It's like your vitality. It's like what you're attracted to. It's kind of like your conscious world, you know, but then the moon is like the unconscious. And it's also your emotions. It's kind of the stuff that you try to like hide more so, right?
Yeah.
So like when you put the two things together, it's like your sun is in this sign and your moon is in that sign and your da-da-da. Do you see what I'm saying? So it's like you get a lot
it's
of
like more well-rounded for your whole
like
personality,
the
way you
chance
react.
chances of someone being born with your exact birth chart, like it probably won't occur for like another like billion or some years.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Oh wow. Oh wait, that's because of the time and day I was born.
And place.
That's funny because you know my friend was a kid Cody I grew up with or whatever.
Oh yeah, he was born at the exact same place and it was
At the same
time. Yeah.
3 in the morning.
Same time as who?
Tyler.
Tyler?
Yeah.
Do you guys go through a lot of similar life experiences?
I mean, I don't know. I just knew him from like elementary school, and then we never really talked much. I just met him in elementary school, and I knew him through high school, but we were never really good friends.
But you were born like pretty close together.
Yeah, like St. Louis Hospital on August 11, 2000, like early in the morning, like 1 to 3 a.m. He said, I was born around 3, I think.
So just like a few hours.
Like he asked his mom when we were.
That's also really rare though for people to be born at like the exact same moment.
At the same place.
Yeah.
Yeah, I should check with Cameron Dougal. I share a birthday with him. Let's just find everyone that has the same birthday as us and just see
From
what's
the
going
same
on with
hospital.
them. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely within a couple hours for sure, because it was like early in the morning.
Wait, Jesse, what about you though? We're still trying to find.
I'm still working on it.
Wait, Jesse, what time are you born at?
Like 5 o'clock.
5 p.m.?
Yeah.
Yeah, right at dinner time.
Yeah, that's what my mom always said. Just in time for dinner.
You're born in Taurus season, so what day is that? The
April 28th.
April 28th.
It's the day before my son.
Really?
That's right.
Tauruses are great.
They are. Helps keep me grounded.
No doubt.
My Taurus.
Wait, were you born before me then?
Probably.
I feel like it was like 4:45 though for you, wasn't it?
Something like that.
Like right before.
It was just like.
Weren't you born here though?
It's just like around that time.
I think me and Cody, one of us were born at 1, and one was born at 3.
Oh, whoopsies.
Yeah, we did hang out in high school, but like, we haven't really talked in years. But you worked with his mom too.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, yeah, he's very extroverted.
No, he's not.
Yeah.
Hey, you're like a
Talks so
Virgo.
much.
No, I don't think.
No, you are a Libra rising.
He does talk about
I
something
think.
else before.
Wait, what's my moon?
Libra moon. No, you're born, I don't know, your rising sign is at the 29th degree of Virgo. So you might be a Virgo or a Libra rising. Because you don't have an exact birth time. But your moon's in Libra. And then your sun is in Taurus.
Well, if they're both in Libra, that would make sense why you're confused about which one. Because it's both. Maybe.
My rising and my moon.
They
are-
might be. You're either a Virgo or a Libra rising. It's at the 29th degree of
Oh
Virgo.
my goodness. Okay, I gotta call my mom. That's crazy. I could never.
What about you, Megan?
I'm an Aquarius sun. I'm also a Libra rising. Well, you're not sure. And then a Leo moon.
Oh, nice.
You've got a lot of Libra though, and a lot of Aquarius.
Yeah, you told me I was a super Aquarius.
Yeah.
Super Aquarius.
Mhm.
That sounds cool.
And I was raised by a Capricorn and a Virgo, so super fun.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Very,
when all you want to do is be different.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool.
Okay. December.
Mm-hmm.
Well, technically, we'll talk about today though, because it applies to December. So, like today, we have like a new moon in Sagittarius, right? So, Sagittarius. It's funny you were telling me. I remember at one of my astro meets that like no one talks about Sagittarius enough. Which
Oh, really?
I feel like
I never hear about that
I think it's a
sign.
I
cool
don't-
sign.
I don't hear about Sagittarius that much either, honestly. But it's the sign of the devoted scholar, basically,
Oh.
and it's ruled by Jupiter. And similarly, it represents like optimism, expansion, taking a journey, you know,
Mhm.
and like going, like delving really deep into a certain topic, you know?
Do you know I'm going on a journey tomorrow?
Really?
Yeah, I'm going to Paris tomorrow.
Oh, really?
nice.
Yeah.
How long are you
Cool.
going for?
Just a week.
Oh,
I'm going to
nice,
see
cool.
Paul McCartney.
Oh, really?
Oh,
wow.
That's
I'm a
I'm a big
exciting.
Beatles fan, so I'm like, I just
Yeah.
need to go. And it was
Yeah.
very
That's so
spontaneous, so
exciting.
it's just kind of fun.
Yeah,
Nice.
that's so exciting.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Please talk about these signs and just a little bit of the characteristics or general characteristics within them.
Also, just
Yes, a lot of
find everything.
information. But
I
okay, but here's a
totally
cheat.
probably won't understand
Here's
a
a cheat for you is that each sign is ruled by a planet. So it's actually the same. Do you see what I'm saying? Like it's the same
Yeah.
thing.
lot. Yeah.
Like it's basically the same.
That's-
like I mean it's not, but it is,
So,
you know.
yeah, that's basically how I like relate it.
Yeah. So like Sagittarius is ruled by Jupiter, right? So
Yeah.
Sagittarius has the Jupiter qualities to it.
That's exactly me.
Did you ever read
Mm.
I
Percy
don't know what
Jackson?
dogmatic means though.
Yeah, I remember those were
I
like
think
my
so. It's
favorite.
like, I know, same. But it's like, yeah, the Roman and Greek names.
Yeah.
So
Jupiter.
to me, they're
Jupiter
like
is
the same.
Zeus.
Yeah.
Yeah. King of the heavens.
Yeah.
It actually helps when you know the mythology, honestly.
So much.
It helps when you know the mythology, then the astrology becomes so much easier. You're like, oh, okay, this symbolism actually makes sense now.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Sagittarius, though, is the sign that follows Scorpio in the zodiacal order, right? So like last month was like Scorpio season, you know, and then
Oh,
this
yeah.
month is like December is like Sagittarius, you know.
Mhm.
So this is the beginning of Sagittarius season now. with the
Well,
new moon.
it's kind of like, when is it? No, it is Sagittarius. Yeah, it is Sag season
Mm.
now. It started, when was it? It was like the 21st of November, something like that. Something like that. It's like 21st of November to like 21st of December or something.
Oh,
Something
yeah.
like that. But yeah. Sagittarius, yeah. So it follows Scorpio in the zodiacal order. And so Scorpio I compare to more like nihilism. Like Scorpio is more like it's very, like Scorpios are very dark, they're very intense, they're very like focused on like shadowy stuff, you know, like they're kind of mysterious, they're also kind of mean,
They feel mischievous.
you know. Yeah, they are a little bit too, but they're very like nihilistic. Like, what's the point of this? What's like, you know, like what's the point of living, blah blah blah, you know. But like,
So emo.
yeah, it's kind of like darker, but Sagittarius is like basically each sign takes something from the previous sign. So Sagittarius kind of converts the nihilism into more like absurdism, you know? Like, okay, so what there, like if there is no meaning to life, like I'm just gonna like have fun then, you know, I'm gonna like live my life, right? So it's kind of like slightly more evolved in a way, right?
I like that. I feel like that makes sense for December because everyone's like, oh, it's dark by like 3 o'clock. Let's just get a bunch of rum and eggnog and enjoy it.
Exactly.
Christmas.
And I think too with like everything that's going on in the world, it's like, why not be happy? Like, why not be happy even if the world's in turmoil? Like, who cares, right? Like, why not continue to like live your life even if like all hope has been lost? Like, why not do that? You know?
It's funny. It's like totally the theme of this trip that I'm taking.
Yeah.
And it was just.
It's
like,
kind of like, screw it.
Oh my God.
Like,
why
you're
not?
like, whatever.
What am
yeah.
I doing?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And you know, the trick though to like having that outlook is to not necessarily like turn away from like darker stuff, but to like understand it and to like make peace with it, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Always.
Well, we had a coworker that passed away this year, and his memorial was like they waited was just like right, probably like early November, mid-November, and it was like experiencing all of that too, where you just get perspective on how short life is. He died by suicide, so it was really dark.
Ooh.
But it's not like avoiding that, but it's just like go out and do, like we're here to enjoy this too, and when you have the time and the means, like go out and do it.
Yeah.
Don't make it so hard.
Look at things for sure.
Yeah, but it's just crazy. I'm relating so much to that, like what you're saying right now.
Yeah. That's like that. I think a lot of times, like, to people that, you know, commit suicide, like it's a lot of times it's like they're suppressing like stuff, right? Like a lot of stuff, and it's like, and they seem really happy on the outside, right?
Yeah.
But,
exactly.
But then, and so you're shocked when you're like, what? How could this person, you know? But I think like that's kind of like more, that's that Scorpio energy is very like trying to hide stuff away and trying to be really secretive. Sagittarius is a little bit more like open, right?
Yeah.
And so that's like this new moon, essentially, is kind of like embodying that quality, you know? And that's the thing, is new moons are about like intentions, right? And about like how you want the future to look, right? Like new moons are very future oriented, you know?
Yeah, isn't it that you like set your intentions on the new moon and then they manifest when it's the
full moon? Yeah. Because it's like the energy, you're going from like a new moon, which is dark, to like a full moon, which is like fully illuminated sort of thing, right? But I still feel like there's a sense of illumination though with this new moon, which is interesting, because it's almost like we're maybe shining a light on stuff that we wouldn't want to shine a light on. But that's also just like that's also very much a Jupiter quality, that sense of like expansion. So yeah.
Isn't Jupiter like quirky, creative, like kind of out there energy?
I mean, yeah, it's abundance. It's also like the heavens, like the sky is ruled by Jupiter, right? So that's, you know, and he was like the king, you know?
Yeah. Interesting. Cool.
So December 1st, we're gonna pay attention to this, okay? Mercury. No, I mean like this aspect. Like, I mean like in general, I'm not paying attention, but we're gonna pay attention to this aspect because basically we have Mercury and Sagittarius forming a trine to Chiron and Aries, and they're both gonna be retrograde, okay?
Wait, say that again. Mercury and Sagittarius forming what?
A trine,
okay.
Right? So that's that ease.
Yeah.
A trine is like the aspects are just like, I'm gonna have to try and explain aspects, but like if you look at a circle, right? And there's like little dots in this circle, right? That's like a chart, right? You know what I'm saying? So like if the two dots are like opposite each other, they're 180 degrees away and they're forming like an opposition, right? They're opposite. So a trine is like similar to that, but it's like the two planets are like a third of the chart away. Why it's called a trine, right? So it's like 360 divided, so it's like 120 degrees or whatever, you know, like a third, like geometry, you know? Yeah. So basically a trine is just like ease. Like it means that the configuration between those two things is creating this sense of ease, essentially.
Oh, crazy.
So Mercury being the planet of the mind, and Chiron being the trauma asteroid, right?
So mental health or?
Yeah, okay. So basically like Mercury will be in Sagittarius, right? And then Chiron is going to be in Aries. So Sagittarius is all about, again, like expansion, the pursuit of knowledge, right? And then Aries is kind of associated with individuality, right? And so the questions you're going to want to ask yourself are like, how can your individuality help guide you towards your path, right? Aries, Sagittarius, right? Individuality and your path, right? Being Sagittarius. Yeah.
That's super cool.
So it's all about like healing and embracing the self, right?
It's perfect for tomorrow.
Yeah. And loving all parts of yourself. And this is, again, though, there's this contemplative aspect to this because both of these planets are retrograde, right? So they're both moving backwards in the sky. They look like they're moving backwards, right? A retrograde is just when the planet like looks like it's moving in the opposite direction that it normally is. It's like an optical illusion. If you go on YouTube, you can like look up like Mercury retrograde and it'll show you like what actually happens, and it's just like an optical illusion essentially.
Yeah.
So it just looks like it's moving backwards. But anyways, yeah. Pay attention to that. That's gonna be important. Okay. And then December 6th, we have Mars retrograde in Leo. Okay. This is really, I like this. Well, I mean, I don't like the retrograde necessarily, but Mars and Leo is fun. Leo is a very expressive, a very self-focused fire sign, right? And, you know, Mars is the planet of action, assertion, goal striving, all of that. And again, it's going retrograde, so it's moving backwards again. So it means that there's kind of going to be this sense of reflection on some of those themes that Mars represents, like your motivation as it relates to your self-expression, right? Like it's kind of like it's self-reflection, you know, and also learning to embrace like sort of like the more dramatic parts of yourself. You know what I mean? Like kind of allowing yourself to like be dramatic, like a Leo. Because it's fun. Like Leo, people are like, oh, I hate drama. And it's like, do you though? It's like, I love it, but I've got a Venus and Leo in the first house, so I love the drama. So, you know.
It's always a little entertaining.
Leo's the sign of the performer too, which I think is interesting because Tyler's always like talking to people. Like whenever like you host parties, Tyler's always like socializing with people and like
and with his YouTube channel and everything and like
yeah. He always gets into these like really deep conversations with people. And it's like I walk past him and he's like talking to someone, I'm like, oh my god, it's like you should be a therapist, honestly. Like
I do talk a lot, deep dives.
No, but it's like entertaining, you know? Like it is. Like you're like
it's always about the weirdest things.
Yeah.
I just get lost in conversation.
And then okay, same day, December 6th, we've got a lot happening. So we got Mars retrograde, and then we've got Venus in Aquarius. Which, okay, so Venus, you know, is the planet of love and relationships and all that and stuff. It's kind of like seen as the opposite of Mars. Like Mars is sort of the more masculine, said to be the more masculine, and Venus is said to be the more feminine. But Venus was in the very devoted and the very serious sign of Capricorn, right? Which it's in currently because it's not December 6th yet, right? So it's like Venus in Capricorn is very like serious, and it's very much the sign of like commitment, right? Like when Venus is in Capricorn, like that's when people are going to be more committed to like stuff, you know?
And what is it going into?
Aquarius.
Aquarius.
So you're moving from Capricorn to Aquarius. So you're moving from this really steady, stable, serious earth sign into this very aloof, experimental air sign of Aquarius, right?
That sounds like fun.
So there's like,
Little detached.
yeah, little detached.
I have this in my chart. I remember you reading about
Venus in
this.
Aquarius.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It gets a bad rap. That's what you said.
It does get a bad reputation. Yeah, it does, unfortunately. But it's more about like adventure and breaking boundaries, right? And it's also about like doing things unconventionally, like having unconventional relationships or stuff that is like not normal, you know? Yeah. But Venus in Aquarius does get stereotyped as being like sort of like associated with like people that like aren't like faithful, but I don't necessarily think that that's true per se, you know?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. That's also too, you know, when we think about like Aquarius and Pluto in Aquarius, right? Which Pluto has moved back into Aquarius, which is a big deal now, right?
Yeah.
The next day,
That's the one that you said was gonna, like, when we were talking about all the election stuff, was it the Pluto and Aquarius thing that was happening, why people were predicting that it was all gonna be a big disaster?
yeah. Pluto was essentially, it went into Aquarius earlier this year, but then around the time of the presidential election, it actually moved back, like it went retrograde in Aquarius and it moved back into the sign of Capricorn. So that's mainly what astrologers say led to Donald Trump winning the election, because Capricorn is the sign of institutional power and, you know, structure, right? And like old institutions, you know? So that's what most people attribute him winning the election to, was that Pluto in Capricorn. What I think is interesting though, and about this, is that Donald Trump natally, in his natal chart, has...
You've read his chart.
Look it up.
Oh, yes. Tell me.
He has his Pluto, his natal Pluto in Leo. And so what's the opposite of Aquarius? Leo's the opposite of Aquarius, right? And he's got his Pluto in Leo at exactly 10 degrees of around that mark, 10 degrees of Leo. So when Pluto in Aquarius gets to the 10-degree mark of Aquarius, that's going to be forming an exact opposition to his Pluto in Leo. And that's going to be exact around 2029.
Oh, so like the end of his term? Interesting.
Pluto being the planet of
Death.
Yeah.
Is that when that's when we get rid of him?
That's right.
I'm just saying if you want to make
2029.
I'm just saying if you want to. Well, it'll come into orb a bit before then, right? So like 2027 to 2029. That's why people are like, "Oh my God, he's going to be a dictator." I'm like, he's literally he's like 78. You guys, come on.
He's not going to be around that long.
Yeah. Like, sorry. hopefully the slide doesn't get.
That being said, could we possibly like predict our own deaths?
Okay, the thing about this is that it's not guaranteed. Like, I'm not saying that he is gonna like pass away in office. I'm saying that that's one possibility. And I'm saying, because because it's astrology is psychological.
Yeah.
Like astrology is psychological in nature, so it's like
Yeah.
a Pluto opposition would just be like emphasizing like loss, right?
Mhm. Wasn't it also like rebirth as well?
You have to die to be reborn though.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like, I don't know, like I think in terms of like his evolution as an individual, he hasn't, like to me, he hasn't really like evolved in like an upwards path, you know?
Mhm.
Like usually people go, like usually people like grow. He's kind of like, he just had, like it's not, I don't know, it's not, yeah, it's more like, I think he's like a very insecure person. Like he's got like he's got his Chiron in the second house. I think like he's very insecure when it comes to his money, and I think that a lot of his like motivation for like running for office is like because he feels insecure about his value and his worth. And I think that a lot of the stuff he does is he does it to appease other men in power, like his buddies. Like he wants people, like he wants his besties, these like other men to like look at him in like this favorable way. And I think that that's really motivated like his like why he's like run for president and like why he's like doing like all these policies that he's currently doing. It's really a reflection on himself, but you know, it's like a lot of other people also have, you know, insecurities, but they don't, you know, run for office and like they don't like, you know, do you know what I mean? Like it's like, yeah, it's
And
like
they
kind
give
of
all the
sad.
jobs to their friends.
Yeah,
and stuff.
exactly. It's like, yeah, it's kind of sad. Like it's kind of sad when you look at people's charts, you're like, wow, like this kind of sucks for you, but like also like a lot of people have that and they don't necessarily like have the same like impact on others. Like I think his impact on others is going to be very like massive, right? So I think that's kind of like, that's that shadow work stuff, right? That's when I talk about growth is like, I think you actually have to like dig deep and like go into like your insecurities and your trauma and like like ask yourself like, how can I be like a good person? Like how can I not be like, you know?
It's kind of like a tree. Like you grow your roots so that you can go up.
Yeah, that's what I'll say about that. But yeah, so it's very interesting. I think he has an interesting chart. I try not to look too much into, I don't know, certain people's charts that much, but that's some stuff stands out to me and I'm like, you know, I'm like, oh, so that's why you're doing that, you know?
I feel like that could be almost addictive, like watching people in the spotlight and then looking at their chart and being like, oh, okay. I feel like I would never stop wanting to do that.
It's hard to like turn your empathy off though. Like I have trouble with that because when I look at people's charts, I'm like, oh my God, this is like, it's like this person could be like a terrible person, but then you look at the chart and you see what led them to that kind of.
Yeah.
But then it's like they could have also not been that person. You know what I mean? Like they could have had the same circumstances and chosen to be different, right? That's why I think it is always a choice ultimately.
Yeah. Well, free will.
Yeah.
It's the value of learning all of this too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That always really helps, like knowing where to look.
But that's also why I think that his Pluto opposition is going to be quite disastrous for him, is because he hasn't. Do you know what I mean? Like if someone had the same thing happen, like the same like aspect happen, but they had done a lot of the shadow work, it's not as like it wouldn't affect them as much. But I think it's going to affect him quite a bit in some way. Maybe in a metaphorical sense, but I think it could also be a literal sense of like him like passing away or like his wife divorcing him finally or something like that, you know? Yeah. So pay attention to that, maybe. Hopefully no one comes. Hopefully the government doesn't like come for me for saying this. Like, I'm scared.
They're
gonna bust the story.
Yeah, I know they're gonna be like, this is one astrologer that said. Yeah. Yeah, so basically Venus in Aquarius, Venus is going to go into Aquarius December 6th, and then right away it's going to form a conjunction to Pluto in Aquarius, basically on December 7th, right? So you've got this Aquarius energy that's really airy, this very like aloof sort of energy, you know? Very experimental, very like breaking the boundaries, you know? But with Venus and Pluto, it creates a sort of like intensity, right? Like it's intensity and compulsion to like, you know, love, right? Like people with like
obsession.
Yeah, people with like a Venus Pluto context in their natal chart are kind of that those sorts of people that are like obsessive.
Love you on the first date.
Yeah, exactly. Like very like easily infatuated, very like just like obsessive and like, yeah. But I will say a lot of that comes from that like obsessive quality, and that sometimes even that manipulation, that controlling behavior, a lot of that comes from the fact that people don't think that if they're just themselves that the other person is going to love them. So that's why they engage in all this manipulative behaviors, right? Because they're insecure in their self-concept, right? So that's why they feel like they have to like be manipulative to get this person to love them, right? Because no one's going to love them for them, you know? Right?
I feel like that's every like male main character in every book I've read. Like, I'm going to lock you in your house and put cameras in there because I'm afraid you won't love me.
Yeah, exactly.
Interesting books.
Okay, sorry. Just normal romance books.
Dark romance.
A little bit.
Yeah. Goodness.
Or smut books.
Smut.
Yeah.
This live is definitely getting like they're gonna be
I know,
like,
I'm like, we're recording.
they're gonna be like, sorry,
oh, shoot.
this is demonetized. You can't. We're not gonna show this to anyone.
Smut books and
It's
predicting
okay. That's
Trump's
happened
death.
before. That's happened before, and I still kept it up.
That'd be
So
a good
Wait,
title.
do you stream it on your YouTube channel?
yeah, I put it. Yeah, I post. Record it on my laptop, and then I'll post it on my YouTube.
So you're also live.
Yeah.
Live
on Instagram.
Oh, okay. I'll watch it.
I'll watch it.
So it's wild. The 1st and the 6th are the days I'm traveling on this trip. It's weird that all those things are happening on my travel days.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Lots of time to reflect on the
Yeah,
9-hour flight.
definitely,
too.
definitely. But it's like, yeah, there's also, because Venus is the feminine and Pluto's like the darkness. So it's like kind of like the dark feminine, you know, like those sort of archetypes, like Nyx, Persephone, Hecate, you know, all of those sorts of like.
It makes me think of like Hades and
Persephone, yeah. That story, I like love that myth with where like he like basically he literally abducts her though.
Yeah, like, it's cute.
Tyler's like, what the fuck?
Like walking around with cameras.
I gotta start reading books.
No, but like,
I'm sure they're really good.
But yes, I like that story.
but like, yeah, he like abducts her, and then like, it's really a story though about her mother though too, like, right? Because her basically what her mother does, Demeter, she like was the goddess of the harvest, right? And so basically it was Hades was like too scared to approach Persephone, so he like went to Zeus and was like, yo, like I want to marry this girl. And Zeus was like, yeah, you can kidnap her. And so Hades like literally kidnapped her, and then her mother was like you're just gonna take my daughter away from me? No, you're not. And so she literally like didn't like basically made it so that the entire land was like snowy, like everything, the crops wouldn't grow, right? And so like eventually they like had to like give her daughter back for like half the time or something.
Has to be that.
Yeah, so it's like so when Persephone is above with her mother, that's like during like the spring and the summer, you know, and then when Persephone goes back to Hades, that's the fall and the winter, you know.
Interesting.
Yeah.
That's cool.
So yeah, but Venus Pluto literally like love and darkness, you know, right? And that's very interesting to me as well, because on the same day, right? So we've got Venus conjunct Pluto, right? And then we've got Neptune, Neptune is said to be the higher octave of Venus because it represents a lot of the same things that Venus represents, right? So Neptune is going direct on the exact same day, right? In the sign of Pisces.
Isn't Pisces like kind of emotional?
Delulu, yeah.
Okay, so super Delulu, dark, obsessive love.
Yeah, exactly.
All on the 6th?
Yeah.
That's a
Seventh.
lot.
7th.
Oh, that's the 7th.
Yeah.
Okay, now we're on the 7th. Whew.
You'll be home by then, right?
I know.
Not stuck on an airplane.
I'll be home. We'll see.
Safe.
Yeah, so basically it's going direct, right? So Neptune is like retrograde right now. Again, it's backwards. It's moving backwards. So it's essentially like,
Reversing.
yeah, I think it's gonna give us some like clarity though, right? Like when a planet starts moving direct again, it usually, there might be something that's clarified. Maybe something literally related to love, or related to like the darker elements of love, you know?
Oh.
Yeah.
Interesting.
As well too is the idea of, again, like darkness, and how can like darkness allow for us to like manifest our dreams, Neptune being the planet of dreams. Is there an outlet over there, by the way?
Yeah.
I'm gonna put my laptop in.
Right behind that speaker. I can help in a second.
Oh, here, I can plug it in.
Can unplug any of that.
I always do this. Thank you. Ta-da. Okay. It's like really. Where was I? Yeah. So like dreams, darkness, love, good stuff. Yeah. And then on December 15th, we have Mercury going direct again. So we have a lot of this thing happening in December of like planets that were retrograde are going direct sort of thing, right? So it's like there's potentially some clarity on certain things, and things might like feel like a little bit more like dynamic, like they're moving forward, you know? Like I feel like especially these past couple months, it's felt like a little bit of like, where am I going in life? Or what am I doing? Like, do you know what I mean? Like it's just kind of been like stagnant, right? Like stagnancy, that sense of like.
This will probably help moving into the new year.
Yeah.
That'll be nice.
It'll give people a little bit of a boost, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have really good feelings about 2025. I feel like it's going to be really good.
I do too.
2024. Yeah.
I think, I think on like the mundane level, like the world is going to be like it is going to be like, there's going to be like a lot of stuff happening, like politically. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know?
2025?
But I feel like, yeah.
In Canada, yeah.
I feel like lots of like movement and change, but like in a good way.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a vibe. I haven't done reading about it or anything.
Yeah. I think too, more community stuff too, like community involvement with Pluto and Aquarius and.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Social.
And then December, what did I say? Yeah, so Mercury direct December 15th in the sign of Sagittarius, right? So again, we've got a lot of this Sagittarius too, these Sagittarius related things happening as well, right? Like Mercury, again, the planet of the mind, Sagittarius being the planet of expansion, right? You know, and it is interesting, I will say this, Mercury is technically in its detriment in traditional astrology in the sign of Sagittarius because it's opposite the sign of Gemini, right? Which is what Mercury naturally rules over, right? And that's because Mercury is a planet, like Mercury really likes to kind of indulge in like little snippets of things, right? Like that Gemini energy is all about like trying a little bit of this and trying a little bit of that and trying a little bit of that, you know? And like finding like hobbies, right? I often say Gemini is like the sign of like the hobby hoarder, like people that are hobby hoarders, which I definitely am. I have like a ton of hobbies. Whereas Sagittarius is more so the sign of like being devoted to like one area of study and like going, like being curious about just like that one kind of area, right? So there's still an element of curiosity, but it's more focused, right? So I do think that that's interesting that Mercury is in its detriment here, but I also do think we're kind of being asked to balance curiosity and devotion to like a single thing, right? So like how can you be devoted to like a single project while still engaging in your curiosity here and there, you know? Because we also, maybe I'll talk about that later. Or will I talk about that? I don't actually know if I will talk about that. Yeah, but it's basically like right now we have Mercury in Sagittarius, and then we have Jupiter in Gemini. And Jupiter rules over Sagittarius, and Jupiter's in Gemini. So Jupiter's in its detriment in Gemini, and Mercury's in its detriment in Sagittarius. So we're getting this, basically both these planets are kind of like in this, occupying this opposite sign, right? And they're kind of in this area of weakness, right? But they're also like supporting each other in a way, right? So it's like that polarity, right?
I feel like I can picture that almost. Like it's like just dragging your feet to pick a single goal.
Yeah.
You're like, fine, I'll go forward with this.
No, but I think it's also too sometimes when you get involved in like a certain topic, there's more to that topic than you thought there was going to be. Do you know what I mean? Like when I got into astrology, I was like, oh, like this is like, I'm going to like stick to this one thing. But then I got more into it and I was like, oh, there's like mundane astrology, which is like the astrology of like the collective, the astrology of like society. Oh, and then you can do like forensic astrology. You can like, you can like see, like you can like do like, there's some astrologers that like get involved with like the police and like do like crime scene investigations and stuff. And then there's like, do you know what I mean? And then there's like, you can also use astrology to like find lost items and stuff like that. And then there's like traditional, do you see what I'm saying? So like when you get into one area, sometimes there's actually like more to it than you thought, right? So like maybe in some ways your commitment to like one thing can actually like allow you to be more curious.
Yeah.
You know?
That's cool.
I was also thinking the other way for people that like maybe are very focused usually on one thing, the Jupiter and Gemini, would it be like kind of like it's okay to explore things?
Yeah,
like
exactly.
Other things, and there's it's still held in that like focus of Jupiter, but kind of like dabble and explore.
Yeah, exactly. Because I feel like I'm definitely the more so someone who like tries like this and this. So I feel like for me it's like I do need more like commitment to like one thing, but whereas for some people that are too committed to one thing, maybe they also do need to learn to like branch out more, like what you're saying, right? It kind of depends on which side of the axis you are drawn more towards, right?
Yeah, like envisioning like the shifting of like both types of people during this time maybe, or the opportunity to kind of get out of the norm that you might default to.
That's also because that same day we also have a full moon in Gemini, right? Too.
What day was that? 15th?
15th, yeah.
Can't you like see what's going on like in what you're telling us and then look at our individual charts to tie in and see kind of like more specifically? Okay.
We can do that after if you want.
Okay.
But yeah. So that's that. The full moon is going to illuminate again that sense of curiosity, right? So, but it's that Mercury in Sagittarius and then full moon in Gemini, right? The Sagittarius Gemini polarity, which we like I think we fleshed that out pretty well. And then December 21st, we've got the sun in Capricorn. That's also the winter solstice, right? So that's the darkest, or what is it? Shortest day of the year or something, longest night of the year. Yeah. And so the sun, again, is like our vitality. It's our life force. It's like our core self. It's also what we like orient ourselves towards, right? And what makes us feel like a king, you know? In like the more ancient times, you know, the sun represented like royalty sort of as well. But it's entering the sign of Capricorn, which is again associated with structure, boundaries, institutions, right? So we might see themes related to power structure and old modes of thinking. Like that might emerge within the collective, especially, I mean, in the US as we see that shift, right? Political shift. But Capricorn, you know, is also, I feel like Capricorn is also a very demonized sign, because Capricorn season is the time, like if, like it's the time to really like roll up your sleeves and get to work, you know? Yeah. Right? It's Capricorn is the sign of achievement, right? I think people really shun that Capricorn energy, but working with that Capricorn energy as well as that, like wherever Saturn is in your chart, that's gonna help you really like achieve success, right? Like a lot of really prominent like business types have a lot of that Capricorn
it's in my
vibe.
first house, Saturn.
Yeah.
What is the first house represented?
The first house is like the self, like it's like your appearance, it's how you see yourself. That's why the first house is often said to be like I think it's associated with the sun most closely.
Cool. That's nice.
Or with Aries. No, I think technically Aries. First house Aries. Because it's the house of the self. So yeah. I think okay. And, like, the thing that I think is interesting, but the thing that I think is interesting about on the inauguration day, like the sun is gonna actually have just entered Aquarius on like December or like January.
It's like right on the cusp. And sometimes the 20th is Capricorn because that's my mom's birthday.
Yeah, but this time it's Aquarius.
Yeah, it's Aquarius.
This time the sun's going to be in Aquarius, which I think is really interesting because again, I said that like Pluto and Capricorn won Donald Trump the election. Like that is really like the deciding factor in my mind. But then the sun is going to have this, the sun is going to be in Aquarius as well as Pluto is going to be in Aquarius on that day too. So it makes me think there might be some protests, like as soon as he gets elected. The revolution's going to start. Yeah, like it makes me think that there's going to be protests.
I feel like it's been coming for a while.
Yeah. I do feel like it's been coming for a while too. Like they're like, I'm like, as soon as the revolution starts, I'm gonna be like, yeah, let's go, guys. Like yes, burn it all to the ground. Yeah. But like, it's very much like you can already see it happening though. Like I recently saw something on TikTok where like one of the like senators or something, I don't know who it was, but like one of the politicians in New York was basically saying that we should join Canada. Like she was literally like, we should withhold our taxes. We're going to withhold all our tax money from the United States government and we're going to join Canada. That's literally what she said. God. She's like, yeah, she's like, you know, we're all like New York is pretty, you know.
Oh, she's a senator from New York.
Yeah, it was like she was like, yeah, like we're pretty like, you know, on like the left of stuff. Like I think we fit in well with the political atmosphere of Canada. Yeah, I know, and I was like, oh, this is so weird, but that's such like an Aquarian thing to do. Think like, oh yeah, New York, we should just join Canada. Like why not? Just become a part of Canada.
Just like that's like when the states bought Alaska. And it's
Oh,
like,
yeah.
they're just separate, and it doesn't make sense to me. It's like, if
Yeah, I know.
Canada was like New York, like, oh, that would be so weird.
Honestly, I would like upstate New York is gorgeous, okay? Like it's beautiful. So
Really?
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's very pretty. It's like you got to look at some
Yeah, look at New York.
yeah. I don't know about New York City itself. I hear a lot of mixed.
Yeah.
And I think the housing prices are kind of crazy there too. So
Well, it's interesting you said it's like the time to roll up your sleeves and get to work. So and then the inauguration day is moving to Aquarius. It's like, I wonder if like the activists are mobilizing or
yeah,
because that takes a lot of work and planning.
it does take a lot of work.
So,
Yeah.
you know,
Well, I think they are.
Might
I
be
think
the
they are
time.
getting ready. I think there's a lot of preparation for
Nice.
the whole, because it's going to be a little bit of a mess. Like I think
Oh, definitely.
it's going to be a mess. Like
Yeah.
with the tariffs and like I don't know. It's yeah.
Yeah, it's been boiling for a while.
buckle up.
Yeah.
December. What else is happening?
December
That's a lot.
29th. It is a lot. We've got Chiron direct in Aries.
Oh.
So Chiron again is wounds, trauma, rejection, insecurity, you know? It's kind of like the area where we feel like it's our soft spot, right? It's where we feel like we've been unlucky in life, you know? And then Aries is again all about individuality and self-expression, right? So wounds of self-expression and self-acceptance is kind of what's being highlighted right now with this Chiron retrograde, but then it's going to move direct, right?
This is the day after we're going down to Washington for Christmas to be with Doug's family, and that's the day we'll come back.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Like, oh God.
Yeah. But okay, the universe is really just here. It's like highlighting the need for us to see all parts of ourselves, right?
Yeah.
Especially
Yeah, that's
even
what
the
it'll
parts
do.
of ourselves that might be considered like too selfish, because Aries is often like seen as like too selfish, too much. It's too like it's just too self-focused, you know what I mean? Like it's kind of like embracing that aspect of ourselves, you know, and allowing ourselves to be a little bit selfish, you know, and being like, so what if I am a bit selfish? Like, who cares? You know?
Yeah. Whew, all right.
And then December 30th, we've got a new moon in Capricorn. Right, so we're switching now. So we're switching now from the mutable axis of Gemini and Sagittarius, and the air and the fire, right?
Yeah.
The Gemini and the Sagittarius, to the cardinal axis of Capricorn and Cancer, right? The earth and the earth and the water, right? So the mutable signs are associated with change and with adaptability, right? Being able to like tolerate change well, you know what I mean? Like the mutable signs aren't gonna, like if things switch up, the mutable signs aren't gonna freak out over that. But then the cardinal signs are really initiators, right? They like to start things.
That's
right?
so perfect. I feel like it's like set your goal, get your shit in motion, and then like it's all gonna start to change. And you gotta be comfortable with that to move forward.
Yeah, exactly.
Very nice.
And the thing is, Capricorn and Cancer, they initiate things in different ways, right? Like Capricorn initiates in pursuit of like their public image or their like career, like their success, right? That's what they're like very achievement oriented, right? They're initiating in order to achieve something, right? Especially something more in the public sphere, right? But Cancer is kind of almost the opposite in a way, because Cancer initiates in pursuit of self-protection and the maintenance of close relationships, right? So you've got Capricorn pursuing things for public success, and then you've got Cancer pursuing things for like private intimacy, right? So it's kind of this polarity between the public and the private, right?
I feel like that seems like a regular balance that people deal with day to day.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's also, like work, family, public, private.
Mm-hmm.
And then that same day, this is pretty much the last thing. Do you remember what I said at the start, though? At December 1st, I said to pay attention to December 1st,
I wrote
right?
it down.
I said Mercury and Sagittarius trine Chiron and Aries, right?
Yep.
I said that, and both of those were retrograde.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no.
We're getting the same thing.
Oh, but they're
Same exact thing, but they're going to be direct this time.
Okay.
Both of them are going to be direct, right?
What does that mean?
So like going from looking inward.
So it's the same aspect. It's the same energy, essentially, but one is more direct and in your face, and the other one is more reflective, right? So if there's something that you're unsure of at the beginning of the month, see if some sort of revelation emerges by the end of the month, right?
Yeah.
Especially when it comes to your identity and your self-concept, right? And your path, you know? See if there's some clarity there.
Mm-hmm.
But basically, the things that show up early in December are going to also show up again later in December, you know?
Mm-hmm.
The perfect test.
Mm-hmm.
It's like what shows up tomorrow? December 1st is tomorrow.
Yeah, we gotta
Buckle
get
up.
Buckle up.
We're gonna start our advent calendars tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yeah, we do. Yeah.
Tyler's got a lot of second house placements from what I remember.
What is that? What's the second
I only
house
own
again?
one house. I'd like a second house.
Yes, is that finances?
Yeah, it's like money and possessions and stuff. That's why he buys so many cars.
Yeah, I don't have money, but I got a lot of things.
He's got a lot of cars. He's got a collection.
Yeah,
That's
yeah, we
'cause he's
definitely
got-
have lots of things.
I've never paid more than $2,500 for a vehicle. I got lots of.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Jessica doesn't seem too happy about that. She's like, mm-hmm.
But he also switches hobbies every like month or couple months, and then has to get the whole setup for that hobby.
I do that too, though.
Yeah, kind of similar actually. Lots of similarities between you guys. I feel like.
Yeah.
He's like
I
the
used-
loud version.
The loud version.
It used to be a lot worse. I don't do it as much anymore.
Yeah, you growed up.
Yeah.
But okay, so overall though, for this month, it's kind of like there's a lot of fire, okay? It's like a little bit selfish, you know? But I think like I will say that oftentimes we need to do the inner work in order to meaningfully show up for others and for the community, right? Like,
Yeah.
you know, sometimes people get involved in community and community work and you can tell that they haven't done the inner work, and I think sometimes it can be almost like dangerous to like,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
you can do a lot of harm if you're not like reflective and you know,
Yeah, well, if you're
Introspective.
in a community and people are following you,
yeah,
you know, you lead people astray.
yeah, exactly.
Like every cult ever.
Literally every cult ever.
God.
You should form a cult. I'd join it.
Let's see, have you watched that one on Netflix about, what is it, the Twin Flames?
No, I think I've seen the trailer of it though.
Okay, anyways, I'm gonna end the live there though.
Oh, yeah.
Isn't that a documentary?
I want to see one of these.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I definitely saw the preview for it.
Yeah, it still exists too. This
Are you
whole,
kidding
yeah.
me?
Yeah. Well, if you want a mat, you can have that, or you know.
What documentary is this though? Twin Flames?
Twin
is that what
Flames,
it's called?
Escaping Twin Flames.
Escaping Twin Flames.
It's crazy town.